Ideals like peace, freedom, and justice, they get packed up, but we can all go home. Well, I'm not going home. I'm gonna get on my boat, and I'm going upriver, and I'm going to kick that son of a bitch bison's ass so hard that the next bison wannabe is gonna feel it. Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 298. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. You can also find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
Dan, we got a fantastic show today. Special guest on the show. Without further ado, Joe Chagan, good friend, welcome back to the show.
Glad to be back. Thanks for having me, guys.
So it was a very special episode. It's a very special week. The most anticipated game of the year, Halo Infinite, dropped this week. And what better way to talk about Halo, to celebrate Halo, is the man who got me into the Halo series way back when you bought the original Xbox on day one with Halo.
So credit to the missus on that one, technically. That was our 1 year anniversary. We'd been going out for 1 year, and she thought it was a wise idea to spend that anniversary at the Toys R Us in Times Square with Bill Gates buying an Xbox. So, and that's why she's a keeper. That's why we're still here.
I was going to say she's a keeper. I don't know what I would do if my significant other said, you know what, let's go wait outside online
in the freezing cold in November.
In the freezing cold to get a gaming console. Yeah. She wouldn't do that, but she's still a keeper though.
Yeah.
Other good qualities.
Right. So I think we're gonna
wait.
Well, go ahead.
I have a question. When you got the OG Xbox, how did Dave like it? Because he shits on the OG Xbox. Every chance he gets.
So to be fair, Dana also gave me kind of a hard time because she was like, I'm gonna get this PS2. I was like, no, you gotta wait for it. This Xbox, it's amazing. It's got whatever fancy graphics and a better processor and Sony's crap. And I was like telling her to get this thing. So she held out and she bought the Xbox instead. And we got Dead or Alive and, embarrassingly enough, Mad Dash on day one.
Oh yeah,
I was like, you should get that Halo game because I was broke and she had some money. And she's like, I don't know, it doesn't seem that interesting. So she bought Mad Dash, which if anyone recalls is like little animal running Mario Kart.
Yeah.
And that lasted like a week. That didn't get a lot of legs.
Dead or Alive was pretty good.
Dead or Alive was great. Dead or Alive was amazing. And then she ended up actually buying me Halo as a Christmas present to play on it. And she still to this day refers to it as her Halo machine. Since didn't get a whole lot of mileage from that thing otherwise. But Dave, we definitely argued a lot about
there was some yeah.
Well, you know what?
The ups and downs of both systems.
It had a rough start, right? Like Halo was the game. The game.
I seem to recall you playing something called Kinetica when that thing came out. So
yeah, I
think Halo and Dead or Alive is a much better launch than the PlayStations, if you ask me.
Well, Kinetica wasn't even a launch title, to be fair. SSX.
That was after the fact.
Yeah, that was the highlight of that. So this was like a year after at least.
So full disclosure, I think the OG Xbox is one of the top 3 most underrated consoles of all time. I'm sorry.
Tell them what your other 2 are, because I think
Dreamcast. It's Dreamcast.
No, Dreamcast is mine.
No. Dreamcast is
number
the
1.
Dreamcast is rated. I'm sorry, it's rated. It's not underrated. It's rated.
Well, at the time, I think history has come around on it, but
number 1. The Sega Saturn. I don't care if you're out there. You can add us on Twitter. Sega Saturn, number 1 most underrated. Xbox, the OG Xbox, and then the Wii U. My 3 top most underrated consoles of all time. So, and you know what? Your woman is a keeper, but her and Dave are both wrong. I'm sorry. They're both wrong.
Well, anyway, we're not necessarily here to talk about the old. We're here to talk about the new. And we're here to talk about Halo Infinite, right? We've all got some time with this game, right? I know we played a bit of the multiplayer, and I know all of us have played the single player and gotten to... I think we can say we got into the open world part. I don't think that spoils anything, right?
I'm 5 hours in. I'm definitely in the open world part. Okay. I think I already beat like 2 or 3 bosses down like in the open world. So yeah, I'm in it. I've played 0 multiplayer. And, you know, before I die, I probably will continue to have 0 multiplayer in Halo Infinite. So I'm safe to say I leave that to you guys, but I can talk all about the campaign.
Well, I mean, I've talked about the multiplayer a little bit, so I think it'd be good to get our impressions of the single player. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think it's good, not great yet, in my opinion. The verdict is still out. I think I need to give it a little bit more time. Because well, go ahead.
No.
Because
why isn't it fantastic?
Well, the game mechanics feel on point, but I am worried that once you start doing a bunch of missions, it's gonna get really boring. Because I don't know if they're like, I did a couple, and like there was some unique dialogue in there, and it was cool. I was like, okay, I feel like I'm doing something that's not just like a toss away. I don't know how I'm going to feel after my 30th like raid on an FOB, right? Is it still going to have the unique dialogue? Is it going to be a fresh experience at that point? You know, I just don't know. Like, so far it's great. Or, I mean, so far it is great, but I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if I'm going to feel the way at the end, I don't know, 15, 20 hours in the game.
I'm still pretty positive about it. I mean, I've thoroughly enjoyed everything I've played so far. I definitely don't think I have anything that I would call a complaint at this point. I mean, the lack of co-op notwithstanding, which is very sad, because this would be a whole lot more fun with 1 to 3 other people. But It to me, so far it feels like, I don't know how much time you've gotten to like explore, but like just like you hit the fob, it shows you a few things on the map. You go take care of those things. Maybe you stumble across 1 or 2 other things, but it's got like just enough kind of discovering things, and like just climbing around with the grappling hook gives me like Breath of the Wild vibes. To where so far I'm just having a good time climbing around, seeing what's there. It's not, there's not as dense of a world. There's not like as many wacky, you're not going to just randomly discover a dragon probably, but like it has that, the exploration is really fun. So I haven't gotten tired of that. And I've played Halo 1, 2, 3 multiple times, and I haven't gotten tired of killing those same guys at those same bases over and over again. So I don't see this having more of that being a problem, but I haven't gotten far enough to like have a final.
Well, that's a little more structured, you know, and you know there's a plot that's unraveling as you're going by, and you're gonna hit a point where there's like all this dialogue and maybe some like big back and forth, you know, which they've had in this game so far. So you know, I can't say they haven't hit on that stuff just yet. And I guess it's a bit more organic. You can just kind of do it in whatever order you want, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean,
well, I'll be honest. I beat Halo 5 when it came out, right, over the weekend. It took me about maybe a week or 2 weeks, something like that, to beat it. I don't remember what happened.
And it was a terrible story.
Well, it doesn't matter if it's terrible or not. Let's just say, it's great. It doesn't matter if the story is great or bad. I don't remember what happened at the end. I don't. And this it doesn't do a great job of catching you up if you've never played a Halo game. I'm sorry. I had to go watch a 20-minute sort of, the story of Halo so far to remember why I'm doing what I'm doing.
I'm very curious to see where this plot wraps up, but I almost feel like they really wish 5 didn't happen. They're like trying to just do something else, which I'm not mad about. But
yeah, it wasn't great. And I think if they had more time, they would have done what Gears did and put in the video of the story so far. Because like Gears 5 gave you here's what happened up until now, and it gave you a really good primer.
Psychonauts did a really good job of that this year.
Oh yeah,
Psychonauts was fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this Far Cry sort of, liberate the outpost, open world. I mean, the grappling hook definitely
makes yeah.
It is. It makes the game for me, right? Because, I'm like, I have to go all the way up there. What do I got to figure out a way to drive around and go up, or I could just, leave my car here and go up there. And that's awesome. And that part is awesome. Mm-hmm. I just, I wish it was a little bit more linear. That's just me. I thought
you like the mission structure. Yeah,
I like the mission structure. I thought the game started off great, and then when I got to the open world, it sort of soured for me. So I was like the opposite of what other people think.
I'm curious.
I'm trying to like it.
A quick poll for everyone. What difficulty are we playing on?
Oh,
normal,
heroic.
always heroic. Yeah, which is. It's giving me a good enough challenge, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple spots where I've died like 3-4 times and had to be like, all right, pump the brakes. Let's think about this. How are we going to approach it? So it gives me enough pause. So it's fun, but not frustrating for me right now. So I think that's where I'm going to be happiest. But yeah, I feel like if you wanted to, like without having to bother to go find all the things and get all the upgrades, if you just like went to the big spot on the map where the next thing is, dealt with it, and then rolled to the next one, you could have a very old school Halo like story done kind of thing. Like there are people online saying they finished it in like 10 hours or so.
True.
So
yeah,
but certain areas to get there, I got to run through this item on the map. Like I ran into that. Like I'm trying to get here, and I run into this.
Right.
And since I'm here, screw it.
You're going to do the thing and the whatever. Well, you're getting rewarded for it at least, so you get a little thing out of it, which is nice. But
yeah, screw it. Like that's the problem that I've been running into. I always get caught up in something else trying to get to the story point because the story point isn't right next to it. It's all the way.
Oh, it is. It is a little far away. Yeah, they purposely put you in all this other stuff. The way you could do this and you could do that, but to get there is
The first map, like that first big, so the tower, since I don't think that's spoiling anything for anyone, that's like the first big thing to get done. Yeah. And that's like not too far for you because there's a whole big, like lower mountainy section that you can spend a lot of time crawling around and finding secret nonsense that you can just completely skip if you want to like not bother. So like a warthog from like where you land to the tower is like, I don't know, 2-3 minute drive. Like,
yeah. As long as the guy out.
What's the character that saves you from outer space, just floating?
Just the pilot, I think.
Yeah. The pilot. Okay. I wish they would have
like. He ever gets a name.
I wish they flushed out his character a little bit more in the beginning of the story.
Right.
I know he wants to get back to his family. I don't know anything else other than that, right? Because that's what they show you in the beginning. Yeah. But I wish they kind of flushed it out because it's just like you're Master Chief, and you're like, no, we're not going home. We're going to do this. I don't care what you want.
They get you right into it.
I don't care what you want. Yeah. And he's just like, what are you talking about? What? I got to go home. Like, I wish they flushed out a little bit more to give me some more of, like, why does he really need to, is it just a family? Like, why does he want to get home? Right? Why is he the only survivor? Right? Like, why?
Wow.
Like, I don't know if they flushed that out later in the story. I don't know, but it would be nice to know some of his motivations and why he's acting the way he is.
I do hope he gets a little deeper as the story goes. I've heard like several reviews were really positive about the him chief weapon dynamic, but like right now that guy like is bordering on annoying.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like every time I do anything, he's complaining about it, which is kind of funny. But like always, just whining every freaking step of the way.
Well, okay, so Dave knows this about me.
Mm-hmm.
Time is a luxury for me. I know time is we're all grown person gamers.
Grown men gamers, you could say it then. It's fine. I'm not gonna groan. I'm not gonna groan about it. It's fine. Grown
individuals.
We're grown gamers, right?
Grown
GG,
men gamers.
Okay.
GMG.
Okay. So I know Dave loves to play. He loves the challenge. He plays it on the highest difficulty.
Oh, I trust me. I understand. I am in the minority in this situation. Trust me.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I'm having a good time with it. That's what I want to say.
I think I do something similar. I may play it on easy or I may play it on normal, but I never upgrade anything.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm playing a game, I never upgrade my weapons. I'm playing level 20 with level 2 weapons. Right. So technically I am playing it on hard.
We kind of get to the same point in different ways, right? Because they build the game around you upgrading over time. Like they assume you'll have X amount of upgrade points at each and every point, and you'll get this new ability and this new ability.
I feel like I wouldn't have been able to beat God of War if I never upgraded anything. That game was punishing if you weren't constantly ranking up those weapons.
It forces me to upgrade at a certain point far in the game, right? Yeah. So Halo is a game you can't play like Call of Duty, right? Like in Call of Duty, you can hoard a weapon and there's always drops everywhere, or you can replenish your weapons everywhere. In Halo, you really have to keep grabbing a new weapon and moving and grabbing a new weapon. I'm sort of playing it like Call of Duty. I'm sort of hoarding my original gun.
You want that assault rifle.
Where it's hard to find drops. It's hard to find ammo for that original assault rifle, right? So I'm doing a lot of punching, grappling, punching, moving. And I do have the needle. That's like the one weapon, that you can find weapons. So I feel like I'm playing it on hard. I'm getting a challenge trying to beat a boss with a needle because I ran out of ammo.
I do like the change they made to like the ammo structure, because it used to be like if you needed AR ammo, you got to find an AR, and now they just have these like
the little
kinetic weapon stall, plasma weapon stall, electric weapon stall, and so if you've got one of those, you can just grab it. So it is actually easier this time around, I think, to like care, because I'm just walking around with like a battle rifle and other like battle rifle pistol, battle rifle shot, but like that's been 90% of my playtime.
See, I don't really use the grappling hook to change my weapon. I'm just I'm just my OG shotgun, right, and a needler. That's it. And I'm grappling, punching. I'm doing more melee than anything. You ever beat a boss by meleeing him?
Oh yeah,
I do.
I was just doing one before. One of the giant brute guys. I was out of ammo, and I had to like circle strafe and punch.
I don't want to like.
No, I
don't
do
know if
like.
That falls as like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I do have those drops. There's few and far between for me as far as trying to replenish my regular ammo.
Well, you can get them. You can get them at the FOBs too. You can pick up whichever. You can pick up a base set of weapons, and then the more you unlock in the game, the more you get at the FOB. So you can basically spawn what you want, and you can arm the Marines with all those same weapons. So if you run out, you can just go up to the other dude who's got the thing and like swap out your empty weapon for like a full clip or whatever in like the assault rifle, and they will happily transfer it for you. So you just kind of like flip it over and you're good to go.
Really? Okay.
It's kind of funny. It just occurred to me while you were talking about it. You can like definitely see where the co-op was supposed to be, because the FOBs have like 4 individual get a new weapon stations.
Yep.
For no apparent reason.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep. Hopefully they patch that in soon, but I think it's not going to be till like mid next year.
Do you think they really should have just put a kibosh on putting it out in December and just put it out like in the spring and did more work on it?
I understand why they did that. Like I don't know what they would have done to improve what's there, and it would have been
co-op would have been ready. Co-op would have been ready. It's coming out in May.
Yeah, but like a lot of people might never play that way. Like I'm sad, and a lot of us are sad, but there's also a lot of people that were only going to play it by themselves. Like, you only ever play campaign and never touch the multiplayer. Like, I'm sure they've got some metrics on what percentage of people even use that feature. So,
well, what do you guys think about the multiplayer? Have you guys played together?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're playing probably at least once a week, I think.
Yeah, if not
on like
more.
a good week. So we've definitely gotten a bunch of time in. But I mean, I'll let you go, Joe. I've definitely talked a little bit about the multiplayer already.
I think I've got the same opinion as most people in that like the foundation's great. It's super fun to play. I like almost everything about it. Even some of the things that other people complain about, like I'm not mad about the outlines instead of like everyone being the same color.
That takes a little bit of getting used to, but yeah,
it's an adjustment phase. But I think it's a good move. I think people just aren't used to it. I don't know what it's like on maybe like an older TV or like the older console. Maybe it's more of a struggle for people. But I'm sitting here with the 65-inch OLED and a Series X, so it's not been a problem for me. But
right,
maybe I am privileged. But like it's just thin. Like the playlist thing is weird, and usually like I don't even spend that much time playing with people online. Like it's always just the friends. Like there's enough of us in our like college group of pals that we can get like a 12-person game going without too much trouble. But the custom menu is like non-existent. Like all I ever wanted from the first time they showed anything was like, oh man, I can't wait to Spider-Man around the level with unlimited grappling hooks and rocket launchers, and can't do it.
Nope.
Like
it does have a lot of options, but not everything that you would expect to be there.
It has a lot of like the base shooter options, but not the things that are going to make like the Halo and like the fact that I can't control the equipment is just
it's weird.
A massive disappointment. I'm sure it'll get updated one of these days, but
yeah, and I think to add on to that too, they need more playlists, because right now there's just quick team or quick battle, which is 4v4, and you can do Slayer, Oddball, Capture the Flag, and like Strongholds, which is like capture the area. So there's only like those 4 types. There's no straight team Slayer. There's no Rumble where there's every man for himself. So there's that, and then there's like the big 12v12, right? The big team battle stuff, which has Slayer, Oddball, Capture the Flag, and I think the weird like power thing, like you have to power up the base with like 5 things.
The power seed thing.
Yeah. So and I know a lot of people online are like, we just want Team Slayer or we just want free for all, and they just don't have those yet for whatever reason, you know. And I don't think it's terribly hard to just say, here's a new playlist, have at it, because I think
Team Slayer does get in there, but they just don't have like a dedicated list for it. Like it's part of the big team battle and the other playlists. It's in there, but
right. But like just a straight Team Slayer like all the time would be nice, because I know like 5 and 4 and Reach had like a ton of playlists. You know, there was like the SWAT stuff for people who wanted like to play with just like the battle rifle and no radar, like the kind of hard mode or whatever it is. It's not really for me, but I mean, it's it's a thing that people want. So
I think the thing with like the whole game in general is like, and it's just all anyone's talking about, unfortunately, is the whole like monetization thing has like so directly led to so much of this. Like I did the PC hack where you can like start the game, go offline, and then you can access all these playlists that don't exist normally. So like I saved their Fiesta game type to my files, so now I can play Fiesta even though I couldn't make a custom Fiesta game if I wanted to. So they're like specifically locking things away for some reason, you know, and it's just like, and they're like, oh, we don't want to have a Slayer because we don't want to make the other playlists not have enough people in them. But like, if Halo 4 and 5 could have supported a Slayer only playlist with the number of players playing those games, I'm sure this one with its free to play on PC on 2 generations would be just fine. Like the number of people playing this game has got to be the highest since 3.
Yeah. Have you guys gotten any of the multiplayer armor stuff in single player yet?
It's all cosmetics, and not even like the attachments. It's colors and poses.
Yeah.
I've definitely gotten poses, stuff I'll never use.
No. But I mean, at least you know that the Molnar armory equipment stuff or whatever, you can just ignore all that because you're never going to be able to use it for anything.
Yeah.
Like you can't customize your single player Spartan, which would be kind of cool. I mean, you could see him during the death pose and whatnot.
It'd be a little weird messing with Master Chief in game, but
I don't know.
maybe for when you're doing co-op though.
Yeah.
Did you realize that the main boss in Halo Infinite is primarily the boss from Halo Wars 2?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So
interesting.
I don't remember what happened in Halo 5
Mm-hmm.
at the end. I had to catch up from that.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was watching the sort of 20-minute, this is the story of Halo, it really focused at the end of that on Halo Wars 2 because that leads into Halo Infinite.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Right? When he introduces himself and he says, "Yeah, you're Master Chief. Yeah, I'm going to show you who I am," right? Because he's from Halo Wars 2.
Yeah, I remember when they first showed the gameplay premiere last year, and at the end it was like the brutes in red, and everyone online was like, "Oh my god, the Banished! I can't believe they did the Banished!" Yes, and I was like, "The what now?" Because I don't play RTS games as much as I love Halo.
Surprisingly, I mean, I played the demo of the first one. I never got around to playing it or playing 2, but I should go back and watch those cinematics from that. That would probably kind of tie up some of the loose ends, because I think Halo Wars 2 came out after 5, right? In the timeline, yeah. And that
Halo Wars 2 came out like 2 or 3 years ago. I think 3 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. I mean, I dig it so far. I do like the single player story. I have an idea of where it's going to end up. I don't want to say because that may actually like spoil some things, but let's just say I think somebody's not going to make it out alive.
Oh, okay. Wow.
No?
I mean, there's only 2 somebodies that I would even care about at this point, so I don't know what you're getting at. But
technically, there's 3 somebodies.
There is definitely
that I would care about.
Okay.
Not that I would
that you care about.
Okay.
One of those somebodies is slightly annoying.
Yeah.
Is Master Chief going to make it to Halo 7?
Oh no, well, he can never die.
So
come on,
that's an interesting question, because like they've been talking about like Halo Infinite for a reason, and they're like, this is like a platform for the next 10 years. So like, and that's always kind of like a nice idea. Like, I wish things like Rock Band would have done that. Like, instead of trying to sell me like a new game every freaking year, they could have just made it and just given me DLC packs for forever and been fine. So the idea that like, we're like, here's this thing, occasionally we're going to have new expansions with new campaign chunks and all constantly updating the multiplayer is going to be the thing. I'm curious how much they really wrap up at the end of this one.
Oh, that's an interesting point, right? Because you don't want to put a finite button on it and then say, but wait, and then it's like you pick up right before the end of the story happens, and you're like, you can do all this other stuff. Because they've done that. They've like retconned some video games to where, main character essentially dies, but then they're like, well, there's DLC. He didn't really die. And then he comes back and does all this other stuff.
Story.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wonder, did they say if they're going to charge for any of the new stuff?
Probably. I mean, I assume the way they've been acting with this multiplayer, I'd be shocked if they didn't. But I would imagine it's like you should have Game Pass if you don't want to pay for things. Is probably their MO on it.
Yeah. I mean, so like, what would like I'm curious if they are going to go that route, then this is going to be substantial DLC where it's going to be like, here's, the next chapter of what it is. Is that a $5 thing? Is that a $10 thing? Like, how much I'm actually, I don't know how much I would pay for more Halo depending on what the content is like. I mean, I would pay for it because I love Halo, but
I paid $60 for ODST, and that was like the same engine, no new multiplayer, and like it was a whole new campaign, and I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't nearly the package that Halo 3 was.
It's true.
So I'd happily pay $20 for a new campaign
I was gonna say, what would you do if 2 years from now, 3 years from now, it was like Halo Reach or Halo ODST? You know, like it's you got Game Pass, it's free.
Yeah, well, I probably will still have Game Pass at that point, but you know.
And you know what? To be honest, I have, if you're watching the video, I don't know if you can see it right behind me. I have the physical edition, and the game's not even on there. The game's not on the physical edition.
Nope.
It's the first. Nope. It's the first Halo game where it's actually not on the disc.
Mm-hmm. So you still had to do the 21 gig download on top of whatever was on the disc.
Yeah, you still got it. Well, no, I did it through Games Pass.
Okay. Oh, so you got it.
I pre-ordered Halo Infinite just like you, right? And even though you did it a year and a half ago, and I did it
over the summer last year. Yeah.
I did it the day before it came out.
I gotta play that Craig game. Craig looks amazing.
I did it the day before it came out, and I got it before.
Yep. I actually still don't have my copy yet. I don't have my copy from Best Buy. Nope.
Wow.
Nope. It's coming Tuesday. So almost a week after it dropped. Yeah. So I'm very happy that I had Game Pass. I was able to just download it. So no mess, no fuss, but Christ.
Well, I'll tease something for next show. I got something else coming in next Tuesday too. That's really big. I won't say anything.
Shoot.
You got to tune in the next show. I'll tell you what I got. Mm-hmm. I'll even show it.
Mm-hmm. Dad's got some
the crown jewel of my collection.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, but if you had to give Halo Infinite a score, combined multiplayer and campaign, right? What would you give it? I mean, Metacritic right now has Halo Infinite at 86 and user score of 82.
Mm-hmm.
But those scores don't matter. Only our scores.
Mm-hmm.
What would you two score?
What say you, Joe?
I think it's tough. I'm like, there's a lot that I'm annoyed about and that isn't done yet, but what is there, I'm enjoying so thoroughly.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like part of me is just banking on the promise of all the future updates that are going to fill in all those gaps. But like as it stands today, I think I'd probably go with the herd. I think like mid 80s is probably right.
Okay.
I like the gameplay itself, super fun. I love the heck out of it. But there's a lot of room for improvement. It definitely feels like another year wouldn't have hurt them. Not that I wanted to wait that long, but it's no Cyberpunk, but
no.
It'll probably be it'll be in the 90s when it's all said and done. High 90s probably, but right now it's a little thin on the ground.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have to agree. I'd say like 80, 85 in this case. Multiplayer stronger than the single player, but the verdict is still out on the single player because I've only played I think as much as you guys have, 5-6 hours or whatever it is, maybe a little bit more. So it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. I'm having a good time with it. But
well, I just want to say by default, single player better than the multiplayer.
Well, I mean, there you go.
By default. And I'm going to shock you.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Halo Infinite campaign, so far, I'm going to give it a 9.
Wow. All right. Okay.
I'm going to give it a 9. Okay. The only thing I don't like is the open world part, but I'm starting to get used to it, right? Like, I'm starting to get used to it. I think I need another, 2-3 hours just to traverse the land and get used to grappling around and stuff like that. And I think I'm really into it. So I'm really digging Halo Infinite.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention about the single player, which I thought was kind of cool, is I think they took some design influence from Shadow of Mordor, the Lord of the Rings games. Well, if you go in the menu, I think it's like the 4th or 5th option. There's files or whatever, and you can see documents on all of the high level soldiers in the Banished Army. And where they stand and a little bit about them. And they're like cards that you can go after, and they're usually at one of the big bases. All right. The thing they didn't implement is there's no, it doesn't change the game when you kill those people or whatnot. They're just a thing to get, okay, you've uncovered this base, you now have this forward operating base, or you got this trinket or this charm from them. But they make them actual people with backstories and whatnot. They're part of a thing, and you can see the regiment they're in, like they like break it down, like there's like your battalion, your squadron, and like the overall, like, I guess, clan that you belong to. I think that's what it is. They have like 3 different things on the side to tell you like where they stand in the army. So I thought that was really cool. Like they kind of didn't do that before. Like they would dress up like an elite. He'd be like a special elite with a special color and maybe a crown in his head, and that was about it. And he'd just be a special type of enemy. But they kind of gave a little bit of a backstory. So I mean, I thought that was kind of neat.
There's some rumors out there that came out today that they cut a lot of stuff that was supposed to be in Halo just to get it out.
I heard that. Yeah.
So maybe the map could have been a little bit bigger. Or there'd have been more missions, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe they could have been, sort of tell you what the story is of Halo till now when you first start the game.
Yeah.
So I think this game needed at least 6 more months, right? Like if co-op is coming out in May, that's probably when this game should have came out, is in May or June.
I do feel, though, like it might actually be to the benefit long term to come out sooner than later, because like I don't know if you guys saw,
they can't get nominated for Game Awards.
No.
Yeah, this is true. I can't believe it won. I didn't even vote for it for that, and I love Halo, but I put in we get to that later, I think.
Yeah,
but
further in the show.
But like there was a thing where like when you finish the battle pass, the little achievement thing that pops up says 120 on it, even though there's only like 100 levels, because one of the leaks earlier showed 120 levels, including more armor that isn't actually even in the battle pass. So it's like the longer this was under wraps, the more marketing got in there, and like we're like, no, charge money for that, monetize all the things. So like now that it's out and people are bitching and moaning about it like crazy, now the developers can finally be like, can we fix it now? Like, can we stop making it terrible? So
yeah, they're like halfway there, I think. You know, they still need to make some stuff like attainable, because there's that famous quote last year where they said everything's going to be unlockable just by playing the game. You don't have to pay for any of that stuff. You'll eventually get it, and they did the thing that Call of Duty did, but worse, or does. Because they do the same thing. It's just not as egregious. Every couple of levels will be a thing that, like, you need the battle pass to get it. And it's like, all right, fine. I'm not going to buy it, but fine. You know, this was like...
you literally can't get a single piece of armor without actually buying the battle pass? Is there any?
I've gotten one piece of armor, like actual add-on armor, and I'm at level 22 out of 100. Uh-huh.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. I've definitely put some time in.
That's some bull.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but guaranteed they'll make it better. I thought they would have had something big come out on the day to say, like, look, we're changing all this stuff, because there was a big patch or whatever. There was something that was like for it that you had to download, and they didn't really change any of the multiplayer stuff other than just like, here's more XP, which is good, but you get more XP to unlock things which you aren't able to use unless you pay another $10. Yeah. Not to mention all of the like esports stuff, right? There's all the esports special like FaZe Clan and whatever else that you have to pay money for if you want those specific skins and styles and whatever else. And that's like, I don't know, $10-$20 a shot for like a few things. So
I almost wouldn't be mad if it was just like old school DLC, but like if I could pay like $1 for like some armor, I'd have been like, you know, like, it's free, I get it, here's $1, I might buy a few, you know, but like $20 damn for a freaking thing, and even then you don't get like full customization, and you got to do other stuff to get these other colors for them.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Okay.
But we did. Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, because I was going to say we did have. I think we may be wrapping up the Halo talk a little bit, but one thing that I'm actually kind of curious about is, what is everybody's favorite Halo entry out of all the ones, even the Halo Wars and everything, ODST, 1 through 5, 1 through 6. I guess Infinite is now 6. So we have a good 7 entries, I guess. What's like the best overall
8.
Experience? 8. Yeah, I guess 8. Oh, well,
Plus
Reach
the
2.
Halo Wars is 10 if you're counting the war games. And then if you count the arcade and the 2 mobile games. No, sorry.
Oh, God. Well, the Halo arcade game was fun.
Well, I'll let Joe go first.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I was thinking about it in the lead up to this, and it is a difficult call. So it's kind of a split decision, and I think most people are probably with me on this. Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of hardcore Reach fans.
Reach,
but
single player was
if
good.
it's like if I could only play one for the rest of my life, it would probably be 3. But if I had to just pick absolute favorite, it's still number 1. No, just it was such like a perfect storm. Everything about that game. So many freaking hours playing. So many good times. So I have to go with 1, but tough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm going to shock you with my pick, so I'm going to let you go first.
All right. So okay, overall, I would probably agree with you, Joe. 3 and Halo 1 for the memories. But I think the Halo 5 multiplayer, I think the Halo Infinite multiplayer is the best iteration of the multiplayer. And either Halo 3 or Reach is the best single player campaign out of all of those. So I would mix and match. But feet to the fire, I think 3, because 2, the multiplayer in 2 was kind of garbage. 3, they kind of refined it a little bit. They made everything pretty usable, and it had the gravity hammer, which was amazing. Love the gravity hammer.
Yeah. The only thing that Reach had the slightly better forge, because you could actually like snap things in place, which was a huge update. Is the only thing I would really miss from 3. I didn't actually like the Reach multiplayer as much.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shock you with my pick. You're not gonna believe it. So I will say this before I pick. There are 2 Halo games that are sort of special to my heart. Halo 2 was the first Halo I ever played. I never played the original Halo when it came out. I played it afterwards, and I played 2, and that was the first one I beat. Yeah, I beat 2 on the OG Xbox in my living room after a hard day of work at Circuit City.
Oh yeah,
I came home.
Good old days.
And yeah, so I beat, and it wasn't even my game. It was my cousin's game, and he just left it at my house. So I have a special connection to 2. Halo 4, I got a new job the day Halo 4 came out, and I said, you know what? I deserve this game. So I went out and bought it. I went to GameStop right there on 33rd Street in New York City, and I bought the game. I didn't really like it that much, but I loved it because it was like, I deserve this. Like, congratulations to me. I got a new job, but I didn't really like 4 as much. I'm going to say my favorite Halo is 5. Yes, I know the story itself is all over the place, but the game is linear. You know, I love my Call of Duty style. Right. I have a squad with me, right? So you do have a squad with you, no matter if you're playing with Locke or as Master Chief, right? And I like the boss battles. I thought the boss battles were awesome, right? The overall story arc probably not so great, but the game as a whole, I thought was awesome. And I did play Halo 5 multiplayer. I played a little bit of it.
Oh, I love the multiplayer in 5.
I'll never play Infinite, but I played Halo 5 multiplayer.
Yeah, 5 is the reason I use the freaking battle rifle at all now, because I really got into SWAT for some reason. I'm like usually not like the precision person, but that little head pop noise when you get a headshot that they put in 5 and have carried over to Infinite. Thankfully, that little is just so good, so satisfying. So just like pop pop pop, taking people's heads out. I was gonna say the boss thing is something I didn't really mention in Infinite, but like that was a thing I didn't remember that they even had bosses in 4, but it was like a big thing in 5, and I really like how they've done it in Infinite so far. Like that implementation has been really enjoyable, actually. I was a little worried it would be like the Warden all over again, but
is it just me? I just feel like playing this gives me like Destiny vibe, right? Gives me Destiny, a little bit of Destiny vibes.
Yeah, I could see that.
All right, it's like I'm going deeper and deeper, and I'm trying to, liberate this outpost. I'm going deeper and deeper, and then the boss just shows up, and it's like, okay, now we're on.
It feels very satisfying. I don't know. It feels very satisfying
it does.
When you get there. Yeah. And I like that they all have different personalities, and they're like, there's a little thing when they see you, and like they all have different like individual lines that all of those bosses will say, which I think is fantastic. Like, You know, they added in those little touches. And like the dialogue that happens when you're on the missions is kind of nice. Like, it's not just like, oh, we're going to go do this thing right now. Like, it's kind of unique to the thing that you're doing, even though it's like a side mission. But, yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. I think I get from this that all three of us, we really like Halo Infinite. Mm-hmm. It's, you know, it needed a little bit more time in the oven.
Oh, agreed.
But what we played so far is awesome. Yeah. Right. So with that said, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to dive deep into the Game Awards 2021. And we're back. All right. Let's just jump into the Game Awards, okay? Mm-hmm. I want to split this up though into sort of two different sections. Okay, sure. I want to talk about all the big game announcements in one section, and then we could talk about the awards, right? The real reason why we're supposed to love the Game Awards, but not the reason why we actually watch the Game Awards. All right.
Yep.
So let's talk about all the big announcements, right? The E3 style big announcements. Mm-hmm. I'm going to include the pre-show, which was only 30 minutes, but we got like 20 world premieres.
There was a bunch of stuff in there, right?
Yeah. We're not going to go through everything, but we're going to go through some of the highlights. Tunic finally got a release date. This game was shown. I don't know if you remember the Tunic. This was actually shown at like E3 Microsoft Stage E3 2017. So it was like 4 years ago. It was announced.
Yeah. And it looked cool. It's certainly gone through some changes, I think. But
Zelda style game, right? Original, like OG Zelda style game. Mm-hmm. And it was in 2020 the demo was released, or was it last? No, it was last year, last E3. Mm-hmm. The demo was released on Xbox. It is coming out March 16th, 2022. So my only question is, will we get a physical edition?
Oh, well, that's a good question, because it is an indie title, right? It is kind of in that non-AAA vein, even though it looks amazing. And the graphics
and it's adorable.
I beat the demo.
Definitely.
I have yet to play it still. I need to go download that and try it out.
Now, you know what you need to download? You know, Dave, you know what you need to download? You need to download that Matrix Awakens, okay? Oh. I thought Keanu Reeves was awesome. He was like just being super over dramatic, like, it's the Game Awards.
Oh yeah. He was having fun with it. With it. And they both look good. Totally, don't get me wrong. Like they both look really good on stage. I was like, I am now hyped to see the new Matrix movie.
He totally didn't give a shit. He was just like, it's the Game Awards.
No.
Yeah. The Matrix was a Waking experience. I didn't download it yet. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's on Xbox and PS5. Remember, I think last week we talked about it. It was rumored to be like a PS5 exclusive, right? Mm-hmm. And I wanted it to be like a big VR game where you're Neo and you could stop the bullets with your hand. That sort of been an awesome experience, right? Not a full game because you can't get the fighting scenes down in VR. That probably wouldn't work. But stopping bullets or like trying to do your Superman thing, flying through the air and ramming into traffic or ramming into enemies, I think you could do that. But I don't know what this is. This is more of a cinematic experience, right? Like not a game per se. So
I actually downloaded and played it earlier today. Mm. So it starts off with like some like really convincing, like there's actual video, I think maybe to start, and then it like transitions into like real-time Unreal Engine, Keanu and
Trinity.
Unreal
Trinity.
Engine
I can't remember her real name. Yeah, Unreal Engine 5. Yeah. And it looks really good. Like Keanu like looks like legit. You're like, he looks a little smooth, but like I'm pretty sure that's CG and not real. And then when she showed up, Carrie-Anne Moss, she was like definitely like a little more CG. I don't know if it was the clothes or something, but it was a little less good. And then you go into this like crazy car chase scene with like real simple controls. So it's like push left or right to pick a target and pull the trigger, but you like shoot cars and things blow up and it looks really awesome. Mm-hmm. And then it gets to this bit where there's like a whole city you can explore as this other character. I don't know who she is.
Oh, the one with the short hair and the glasses? Is she the one on the train in the video?
Maybe. I don't think I actually watched that part of the Game Awards.
Oh, okay.
I ended up like tapping out because it ran too long.
Well,
So I just watched all the trailers after the fact. Yeah. But yeah, it was some girl that I didn't know from the other movie, so she must be new to this one. But you just like walk around the city, and there's these like spots on a map, and you can like walk up to them, and they'll just like placards that you can read that are like, "There's a place with a bunch of jumps where you could go and maybe jump cars," and you're like, "Okay." Or it's like, "I think the top speed of the fastest car is 144 miles per hour." Maybe, and like so you get in a car, and you can like. It's got this Windows 95 little menu you can pop up to like how much crowd there is and how many traffic, and I don't know, it's weird. It's like it's very tech demo-y, and it's not really a lot of fun to play, but it's impressive looking. It is really neat looking, but it's weird.
Honestly, more interaction than I thought it was going to be. I literally thought it was just going to be, here's how good the Unreal 5 engine is, get hyped for the Matrix Awakens. So
I thought it was going to be the same thing. That's
right.
That's why I wasn't like gun ho to go download it. But now I want to download it and see.
Yeah,
it's definitely worth checking out. I mean, I like a good 20-30 minutes of fussing around just to see what it's about. But it's interesting. It's really impressive looking though. It does look really nice.
All right, but you know what else was impressive looking? The Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League gameplay. We actually got gameplay.
Yep.
Of this, and they showed the Flash, right? He's sort of like, I think this is how they're gonna do it.
Is that
Yeah, he looks infected. Like he has green eyes, and he looks like his veins are green, right? Like Brainiac is like infected him with something. Because I think Brainiac is sort of like the main villain, right? Like the overall villain. He's taken over the Justice League, and I think it'll be sort of each area is guarded by a Justice League character that you're gonna have to defeat. Right, like that's probably how it's going to be. And the Flash, since they actually showed the Flash in action, that's probably going to be the first boss. Right. He's probably going to be the first boss battle, right? And it gave me, I'm not gonna lie, it sort of gave me Guardians of the Galaxy vibe.
Sure.
Right. Or because it's like I guess you could pick. I don't know. I mean, obviously they probably will have multiplayer, right? Where we could all play together, but it looks like if you play it single player, you get to pick which obviously Suicide Squad member you want that has a certain power, and then you can go in. I don't know if you need it. I don't know if you actually need like the Suicide Squad and AI the bots will play like as your companions or anything like that. But you got a lot of enemies to defeat. It's a lot of little enemies always coming at you. It looks like. So I was about it. I was about the gameplay. And I'm about the story, but let me see how this is going to play out. I still reserve judgment because if it's going to be like a more so multiplayer game, then I'm out.
Yeah, there's still a lot of questions around it. It could be single player. It could be heavily multiplayer. It could have terrible fighting mechanics, because they showed a lot, banging guys up against walls and tossing them over ledges and flying over buildings and all that. Like, I want to see, is it gonna feel like Spider-Man just with DC characters? All right.
I just don't know if we're going this multiplayer route, right? Like Batman Gotham Knights, right? Like, I mean, yeah, you could play single player, but they will really want you to play like, co-op with somebody. I don't know if this is going to be the same thing, It's just everything is going the multiplayer route, I feel.
Just not on the same console. Everyone's got to have their own console and their own Xbox Live account and all that stuff, and their own copy of the game. Yep.
But what did you think
on Halo?
I know. Well, I don't even know if they could do that. I think
they said they were gonna. That's another broken promise too. I think. Sorry, not to tangent that one, but just popped in my head.
Right. I mean, it would be awesome if it was 4-player split screen Suicide Squad with like you could do that, or you could do it single player with the computer coming in, because that kind of would be the best of both worlds. But I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely kind of hype. I'm not too familiar with the Rogues Gallery, so that like shark dude, I'm like unsure who he is, but he looks cool.
Well, he's obviously the I mean, if they're gonna break it out into classes, right? He's the power dude, right? He's the Incredible Hulk.
He's the muscle
thing. He's the muscle. I'm gonna throw another curveball at you. How is DC? Because like in the trailer, it was like you got to kill the Flash, right? Like, how does that gonna are they actually going to kill the Justice League, right? Because like in DC versus Mortal Kombat. right? They couldn't do fatalities. You couldn't kill Superman, right? You couldn't kill any of the DC characters or do fatalities on them. You had to do like some superhero totality. I forgot what it was called, but it was totally not Mortal Kombat,
ripping
Spike
head
Lee.
off. Right.
Yeah,
I would wager that it's possible, just because like DC has tried so hard to get their movies to land, and it wasn't until like the Suicide Squad and like James Gunn came in with these ridiculous, violent nonsense that everyone was like, oh yeah, this is actually pretty good, and it's been like their most successful film. So now they might be like, oh, all right, well, we murder some people, and people will actually watch it. So
That's
maybe they'll be a little easier about it.
They've essentially tried everything with the DC franchise movie wise, so it could be, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm still holding out, like my opinion on this. I want to know what type of. I like the gameplay and I like the story of what they're going to do, but I'm holding out because I don't know what type of game this is going to be. But I trust the developer.
Yeah.
So,
well, we'll know in less than a year, right? It's probably going to come out like fall 2022, right? I mean, they said next year. I'm assuming it's going to be fall.
Dave, when we do our show or maybe our inaugural show of 2022, we're going to talk about all the games that we think are going to get delayed until 2023.
Yeah,
this probably one of those
the zombie
games.
Apocalypse. This one got hit by the zombie apocalypse.
This is probably going to be one of those games.
Oh, I hate it. No, go ahead. No. I hate to say it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of games that may come out in 2023, I think this game is slated for a 2023 release because they didn't say coming out in 2022, and that is Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah.
By Quantic Dreams of all. Like that was surprising.
All right. These are the guys who did Detroit Become Human, right? And Heavy Rain specifically.
Heavy Rain. Yeah.
And
now they're not.
I can't remember the name.
Oh, Indigo Prophecy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
they made
way back.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, way back on the original Xbox.
Yeah,
I have that game.
Well, after that, they went sort of exclusive to Sony, right? But now that they've sort of expanded, right? I think there was a corporation that sort of bought like a majority stake in Quantic Dreams, and they said that they're going to go multi-platform now. So expect Star Wars Eclipse to be, to come to Xbox as well as PC and Sony. Probably not the Switch, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do. I love Quantic Dream games. I love Heavy Rain. I'm actually replaying it now, funny enough. And I love Detroit Become Human. It was one of my, favorite games of the year. They're taking this back hundreds of years of the old Republic, right? Yeah. So this is, before Skywalker.
Like old? Because they showed, I mean, at least Yoda was there, and I know he's several hundred years old, but like
1,000 years old.
About 900.
I
think in episode 3 or 6.
Yeah, he's probably like a young 300 in this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the Knights of the Old Republic was like 5 generations of Darth removed from Vader, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it's potential that Yoda was around in that time. It looked weird though. No. Did you guys think it looked weird?
Well, it's so they said and that was the one thing. Like you're like maybe 2023. I'll be shocked if that game's out before 2024 because they said specifically it was like early development, like in early development, which means they whipped up a fancy looking trailer, but like I don't think they know what the heck that game is yet.
True, but anything that we know from Quantic Dreams, I mean, it's not going to be it's more story based than anything, which is why even though it probably is in early development. 2023, I think, is sort of a safe bet, right?
Yeah, it's not going to be a full-blown like RPG or whatever, it'll be like a choose-your-own-adventure. Here's a scenario. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, let's think about it, right? Like, we're not going to get lightsabers until sort of like they got to build to that climactic button mash lightsaber battle, right? So it's probably, I mean, you're gonna have some shootouts with some laser beams or something, but you're not gonna have that lightsaber battle until like the climactic end boss battle, where you're gonna have to choose: should you fight him or should you not fight him? So I'm actually
should you fight him or should you join him? Is really the
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's
going to be a light
It's
side,
all
dark
going to
side.
be about like
That would be awesome.
That's definitely their MO.
Well, speaking of story-based games, Telltale or TT, and I know there is a studio called TT, but I don't care.
Games.
They don't matter because to me, TT games will always be Telltale. Right? They're back, and I have no idea what this series is at all. They're making a game based on The Expanse, which is an Amazon series, and I have never even heard of it.
Yeah, I also haven't seen it yet.
It is. It is. I everyone I know, all the sci-fi nerds are like, you got to watch it. It's the best. You got to watch the best. I tried like 3 times to start it, and like that first season just drags. But now I fully agree with them. It is excellent. But you could like literally watch a recap of season 1, start season 2. It's great. It's like it's what you'd call hard sci-fi. Like it's not Star Trek, it's not Star Wars. Like it's very much like near-ish future. People that work out in the asteroid belt are cranky that the people back on Earth are like living in luxury while they're getting crapped on and all this Civil War kind of stuff. And then there's a bit of alien things coming later, and it's crazy, but it's really good, really good. So I'm pretty excited to see how this shakes out.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to do well, based on the fan base of it, and I'm sure they did the research and said this is going to be our next series to do. So, it could be good. Could be good.
All right. You know what also could be good? A game that I didn't know I wanted, and that's a Wonder Woman game by Monolith of all studios. Right? Like, I mean, that's how we got a cinematic trailer. I don't know what type of game this actually will be.
Yeah.
But I think it's about damn time. Wonder Woman, I mean, has there ever been a Wonder Woman game? Like, ever?
No.
She was
not
in like
mobile.
a Justice League arcade fighting one like way back in the day.
There was that Genesis Super Nintendo one. Yeah, sure. But she was not the main character. She was one of them.
No, but that's as close as we've gotten as far as I know, outside of like getting beat up in Mortal Kombat.
Injustice 1 and 2.
Right. Yeah. No, you know what's an injustice? The fact that we got a Catwoman game before we got a Wonder Woman game.
The Catwoman game and the movie, trash. I'm sorry. Yeah, it'll begin and end with Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Fight me on that.
I feel bad for Halle Berry. Love Halle Berry, but man.
What about the 60s show?
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt.
Yeah. I mean, okay,
amazing.
fine. Eartha Kitt too, but still, come on. Michelle Pfeiffer.
I mean, if I had to pick, I'm going Eartha Kitt, but I did really love her.
Wow. All right. Well, Michelle Pfeiffer in 1990. Let me put that in context. Not Michelle Pfeiffer now. I'm sorry.
Well, you know,
is this a hotness contest or a best?
Well, I don't know. You were saying Eartha Kitt like she was some great actress. She was a good actress.
She was. She was a great actress.
It's
Eartha
such a
Kitt
campy
was a great
show.
actress.
She's a very good actress. Just because she's a campy show doesn't mean the people involved in it weren't good actors.
Yeah.
All right.
The Joker.
There's a lot of good actors in that show.
The Joker in that series, I forgot his name. It escapes me. Even though they painted over his mustache, he was a great actor. He was like a stage actor.
Caesar something or other, I think.
Caesar. Yeah. Caesar.
Caesar
Romero.
Caesar Romero. He was a great actor. He was just in a campy show.
Okay. Caesar Romero or Jack Nicholson? Thank you. And then I'm going to say Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger. And then you're going to tell me Heath Ledger. Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. So they progressively got better. All right,
fair enough. Well, that's what we're talking about, the cream of the crop.
All 3 of those were excellent and very different, and I don't think it's
agreed. No. They definitely had their own take on it, but
okay. Caesar.
Well, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say
Caesar Romero or Jared Leto.
Oh, Caesar Romero.
Okay, there you go.
Jared Leto was like, I don't know where he was trying to take that. He's just like psychotic madman straight up, but like the tattoos didn't make any sense.
He was trying to be a gangster Joker.
Yeah, that's definitely not. The Joker's a madman, but he's not a cholo. Is that the correct term? I
have no idea.
It's like Machine Gun Kelly nonsense.
Right, exactly. Yeah, he tried to be gangster villain. So I don't think we haven't had a Wonder Woman style, like, you know, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, whatever style game where they're the protagonist, a Spider-Man style game. So yeah, it should be good. But no release date, right? We don't have a
release date. This is like 2025. Okay. This is going to come out when Wolverine comes out.
Short cinematic teaser. Yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, it's going to be a while.
Yeah, but you know what's not going to take a while? For us to play the new Cuphead DLC, The Delicious Last Course, that's coming out June 30th, 2022. I am more interested to know if we really will get a physical edition now. Because remember, they said the physical was delayed because the DLC was delayed. So will we get a physical edition of this? Because they said it's coming out on Xbox and Switch, physical.
Well, this is done by Limited Run, right? Or was supposed to be done by Limited Run? Or no?
No, it wasn't supposed to be done by Limited Run. They announced it at like E3 2019 or 2020 or something like that. It was like getting a physical.
Yeah.
And then they said it was just delayed. So,
I mean, I would say yes. I don't know. But I don't know.
Well, we still don't have a physical of a Psychonauts 2, and that's you know, like, come on.
I know. But yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right, let's shift gears and let's get into our fast gear. Let's talk about Sonic. We got to see Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie trailer, right? I mean, rewind. We saw a couple of movie trailers at the Game Awards.
Oh, I know.
I don't know if you noticed that.
That was a little weird.
You know, it
was the Matrix.
It was a little weird, but with Sonic the Hedgehog 2, you're in or you're out. I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
We saw the first one in the theater, right?
I did see the first one in the movie theater.
Yeah, I think
no. Did we? No, you saw it.
I did.
I saw it in the theater. Yeah, you were there with us.
No, I saw it on HBO.
Okay, because I think that was the last movie before the zombie apocalypse hit, and everybody had to go indoors. That was the last one, and I was okay with it because I thought it was good. I thought it was solid.
Yeah,
and
I enjoyed it, and then like I was like, that was pretty good. I didn't hate it, and then like I was hanging out with some friends, and they got kids, and so they had it like on in the background.
Yep.
And I watched that whole movie like a second time happily. Right? Like I was like, no, I still actually really like this. It's good.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I think the trailer hit all the notes, right, of what a sequel should be. Here's the fan service, right? You got Tails. He's riding in the little biplane, right? You face off against Knuckles, right? And they kind of do the thing where they get like stuck together. I was like, yep, I'm all about this.
Yeah,
is it going to be as good as the original? I don't know, but
I think it'll be better than the original. My question is, what are they gonna have on Sonic 3? Because you know, I think this movie's gonna do great. So what?
Big the cat.
Oh, I mean, you could. I don't know. There's what? Charmy the Bee,
Sonic.
Rose.
I mean, just anything but Amy.
Metal Sonic.
I mean,
or Shadow.
With this gun.
Listen. You got to get SBO the Chameleon in there. I'm sorry. You got to get those C rank. You got to get those C rank characters.
Come on, they got to have fishing. They got to have fishing in the movie with Sonic's fishing.
I'm genuinely curious. Just how this is going to shake out, because like the reason the first one works is because it is like not a video game movie. Like it's like a buddy thing. These like opposites, they're stuck together, they become friends. Like it's a very like classic story that goes on. And 2 is very much Knuckles has been tricked by Robotnik to be a jerk, and eventually he's probably going to like discover that Robotnik's actually bad, and he's going to join the other side, and that's going to be the arc of it, is my guess on this movie intended for 5-year-olds.
Probably. Yeah.
I just don't know if it's actually as compelling of a plot as the first one. Not that it's amazing, but I don't know. I'm very curious to see.
It'll be more. I think it'll be more action because now you have 2 CGI characters who can go against each other, unlike having a CGI character go against a real human.
To go against Jim Carrey, one of the best character actors or comic actors.
He's basically CGI.
But it's I mean, come on. Did you see those Did you see those leaked photos of just like the Sonic dolls and the Knuckles dolls just standing next to the actors? You didn't see the leaked photo like a year ago where they had Knuckles, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, just the dolls standing next to the characters, looking up, because obviously they're going to CGI in, whatever they're going to say, but the actors have to stand next to the actual dolls.
Oh, as like the stand-in, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. If you can have the two CGI characters go against each other, that's a little bit more compelling and have more action in the movie, because they could, they're going against each other. You could CGI it up on your computer compared to having Dr. Robotnik, a real person, act like he's getting hit by a doll that they're gonna have to CGI in post.
Hey, look. If Sean Connery can convincingly talk to a dragon, Jim Carrey can do anything. I'm sorry.
I every time they've tried to go full CG, I'm sure we're due for another bad Final Fantasy movie one of these days. But every time you try and just go full CG, realism, it doesn't really shake out very well. So
hey,
I kind of like having
really
random human in there to ground things.
Spirits Within look really good, although there was no humans in that movie.
All right. Well, you know what I think hopefully looks good? The new Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers. Supposed to be out holiday 2022. We still don't know a lot about this game. It was a CGI trailer, but I will say it looked like an open world game.
Yeah, it
right?
It looked like
Sonic is over on top of a mountain looking out into the world, and it looks like it's going to be sort of Halo style, Halo Infinite style, where maybe you got to liberate some outposts out there.
Yeah, this is not the Sonic announcement that, yes, new Sonic game, great, could be open world, could be great. We got no info on it. I'm upset.
The info is it's coming out holiday 2022.
I know it's going to come out in the future. I want to know what it's about. This is Sonic's 30th anniversary, and all they come out with is a sizzle reel for what the game is going to be.
He's standing on top of the mountain, Dave. That's the 30th anniversary. He's on a mountain.
I don't know. I think I may be in the minority. What say you, Joe? Were you hyped? Because I know you're a pretty big Sonic fan. Did this get you excited for what this could be?
I'm a big Sonic fan for people that aren't Sonic fans, because Sonic fans are at another level. But as a proud Genesis owner and Dreamcast and things, I definitely enjoy Sonic, and I think I'm always hopeful when they try and pivot, because I feel like the problem is Sonic has just still hasn't figured out 3D quite right. Every time, the 2D games are great and all, and that's why Mania was great, but the 3D has always been rough. And they said even back Adventure was if we tried to make a level as big as the 2D ones in 3D, they just didn't have the processing power to handle it, moving at that speed to make it work. So as the generations have gone by, maybe a great big open world Sonic game is the answer. I don't know, but I'm at least curious to see. Whereas if it was just yet another 2D one or yet another kind of on railsy thing, I'd just be eh. So at least this has got some promise.
They need to stop putting out a Sonic game every 2 years, right? Or every 3 years or whatever. If you had the Sonic Adventure 2, if you would have stuck with Sonic Colors and Sonic Night, I thought was okay. And
Sonic Colors, Generations was good.
Generations,
right? Generations was good.
And two out of the three boom Sonic booms, the one that was on the Wii U, not so good. But the 3DS ones were good. I think Sonic would be sort of looked at and not as a joke like he is now, because you have Sonic the Hedgehog and what was it, 06, right? That terrible
Sonic
one.
06 was terrible.
Sonic 06, right? What was the last game? I don't remember the last game.
Sonic Forces. The
Sonic
weird
Forces.
communist style one.
Yeah. The game. The
cover of that was
Sonic
all brown and red
made.
with a red star. It looked very and it had a Russian style font on it. So I call it the communist Sonic.
All of those Sonic games shouldn't have been made.
No.
They shouldn't have been made. And if Sonic is your Mario, you really got to give him a little bit more care. You got to put a little bit more care in those games. So we shall see if Sonic Frontier will right the ship and make a good 3D Sonic game, open world. I'm looking forward to it. A game I'm not looking forward to that is actually slated for 2023. That is in super early development, and I think it probably, you never know, might be pushed to 2024. And that's Alan Wake 2. We got the announcement of Alan Wake 2. Now, the original Alan Wake, a little bit more on the action side. It was, horror, like a horror action game, right? Like you really needed to stand under a light to get batteries for your flashlight so you could shoot the monsters. Mm-hmm. They are going more survival horror, right? Alan Wake meets the original Resident Evil game is what I took from it. And when I heard that,
I was hoping more
out. I tapped out. I'm good. This is all you, Dave. Dave loves survival horror games. I'm good.
Yeah, yet I've surprisingly not played the first Alan Wake, so I know.
It's really unique because it's like kind of actiony, but it is that constant tension. Like you got to be in the light if you're in the dark. You got to be hitting the flashlight, but the battery runs out. But you need it to like weaken them before you can shoot, and you're managing ammo. And it's like it does a really good job of like just skirting and just tense enough to keep you on the edge of your seat without being like punishing.
I'm about all that for sure. Yeah. And the part 2, the trailer looked beautiful. I mean, it looked amazing. And I know it's CG and whatever else, but if like the real time can hit close to that mark, I think it's going to do fantastic. Like, I think it's going to be good. Because, I mean, the next time we get a new Resident Evil game is going to be probably another 2 years, maybe 3. And who's going to take up the mantle?
I was going to say, when they said like survival horror, and I thought Alan Wake, tone-wise, I think it would make more sense to be towards the Silent Hill end of the spectrum.
That makes sense.
Like, just that, like with the literary horror, like kind of thing. Like it just, to me, that feels like that would be like the pacing of it a bit better than the Texas Chainsawness of Resident Evil these days, or the old school zombie craziness.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which,
as a side note, I'm gonna throw out a little prediction here. Look for Microsoft to actually buy the studio.
Oh yeah.
Wait. Yeah. I mean, they were before years. It was like two before Control came out. There was talks of Sony buying Remedy. Right. There was a rumor out there that Sony wanted to buy Remedy. Control could have, or Control 2 could be like a Sony exclusive. And we don't talk, I don't put it on every show that we do, but every week there's always like a rumor of Microsoft buying another studio.
Oh yeah. I mean, you could throw a stone and you'll probably make a decent prediction.
But they're always
wasn't exclusive.
Alan Wake wasn't exclusive, even though I have the remake on the PS5.
That's right.
But I do think Microsoft is looking to make at least one more purchase. And you know what? Control did great. It won Game of the Year at IGN, right? But look for maybe an Alan Wake 2 and a Control 2 in the same universe. All right. And that other game, what was that other like game that was tied in with the movie?
Max Payne?
No. It came out on the Xbox One. Came out on Xbox One.
Oh, Sunset Overdrive? No.
No. It was tied in with, they had like a movie component. They had the movie component to it.
Oh, Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. That was an Xbox.
There was like a.
I love that game. That was the Xbox exclusive too, right? Yeah. So this would make sense if Remedy was, maybe first party studio at Microsoft later on. You never know. You heard it here. My prediction.
They're a mid-tier enough studio that they could be bought out and probably would take the money from that, right? If you're saying like Microsoft's going to buy Ubisoft, I don't think that's going to happen. But
no, I don't think that'll happen to it. Even though they do have the money to buy Ubisoft, but
I mean they do, yeah. I mean they bought Bethesda, which is still mind-boggling.
That is bananas.
Yeah, and I mean Microsoft made the right move, buy the company that makes Skyrim, right? But...
over and over again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they mentioned that they had the Bethesda commercial, the one that was like at the beginning. And it was like a VHS tape, and it was just like a commercial for Bethesda, I guess. And it was really funny.
Codes.
Yeah, they had all the little like Games Pass codes on the side, and it's like, because we're gonna make Skyrim yet again, and you're gonna love it, and you're gonna buy it or whatever.
He said we're running out of consoles to port Skyrim to.
That's it.
And then he gave the face like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. Well. Alan Wake 2, we'll have to wait to see if it'll be a Xbox exclusive, but we know Forspoken is a PlayStation exclusive, at least a timed exclusive, I think. And we got a release date. It's coming out May 24th, 2022.
This was at the last E3, correct?
It was at the last E3. I forgot where. It was either at Sony's E3 conference or Jeff Keighley's sort of Summer of Games.
Summer of Games Fest. Yeah, so it was definitely over the summer. It looks cool.
No, it was at PlayStation. No, it was at PlayStation's.
Okay.
It was at PlayStation's. It looks good. We got a little bit more fleshed out of the story. I mean, this female protagonist was, she's from our time, and she gets taken into this sort of back in time. Like,
was it the New York Yankee in King Arthur's Court?
Yeah.
Game?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
And she, and she has like, magical powers. She's like a witch or something along those lines. I sort of like the gameplay. We got to see a lot of gameplay. I love to see the gameplay. She's like sort of floating in the sky, right? Like so basically you can float and throw projectiles out of your hands. Mm-hmm. So I wonder how that's going to work as far as like charging up. You can't just throw unlimited projectiles. I'm assuming you're going to have to charge up sort of
right. You'll have a
whatever your magical powers. Yeah, so I was all about it. I was like, I'm more about it from watching this trailer than any other trailer I've seen so far, to be honest. So I'm down. This is a day one purchase for me based on this trailer.
There you go. And we have an actual date. This is, I think, the only game trailer that we had an actual date for. Everything else was like amorphous, coming soon or coming in a year. Whatever.
I think it wasn't.
This and Tunic. This and Tunic.
Yeah.
Tunic.
And
I was gonna say Tunic was a big deal that they announced a date finally.
Right. Oh, and I guess the Cuphead DLC as well. Yeah, but that's DLC. I mean, that's and that's like 4 years from when they were like, yeah, we're gonna do DLC, and now 4 years later, hey guys, remember that game you loved that you played back in the last decade? Now we have the DLC for it. Christ.
A game that it was interesting because this sort of leaked out before the Game Awards, and I was semi hyped for the leak, but then when we got to see more of it at the Game Awards, I'm out. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yep.
By the creators of Friday the 13th, the game.
Yep.
That means it's going to be sort of just like Friday 13th, the game. You go in. Somebody's going to be Leatherface with the chainsaw.
Yep.
And somebody's going to be going to try to survive. Mm-hmm. So I'm good.
And you guys know me. I hate chainsaws. I'm out. It's in the name.
You play Gears of War. You play Gears of War.
Well, thankfully Halo's out, and I don't have to deal with Gears anymore. So
he complains about the chainsaws every time.
And I scream like a little girl.
Okay. But at least with Friday the 13th, that had like Jason had like sort of superpowers and things to make the game like a little more interesting. Like Leatherface, just to do with the chainsaw. Like I don't know, unless like it's a whole destructible environment of a Texas shack that you can cut through. I don't know what the twist is.
I feel like look great. You could set traps and all that, and like kind of booby trap the area maybe. Because that's what I think the Friday the 13th game had traps as well. Oh, actually, no. You could set traps for Jason.
Yeah.
I don't think He had the weird superpowers. He could teleport and all that.
So it'll be just like Friday the 13th, just with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre skin on it. Right? You're going to be in some desert town in Texas, and Leatherface is chasing you. You're going to have to try to figure out how to get out.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it has to be the same engine. It's from those same creators, so you kind of slot in. You slot in Leatherface and a bunch of rando humans who just get destroyed. Or maybe you can pull characters from the movie. I don't know.
That engine sucked. Okay, you know how many people complained about that game? People complained about the game when it first came out.
It had some issues, yeah, but they fixed it.
It had a lot
of issues. Come on, that engine sucked. They come on, scrap it. Do something.
I mean, I'd like to assume they have it sorted out now, but it was a
one thing
rough
that was one thing.
Do you think Telltale Games is going to have the same engine as the other Telltale games?
I mean, that's a bit of an aging engine.
Yeah. So is the Friday the 13th engine. Okay, that game came out how long ago?
It was like 2017, maybe.
I thought it was 16,
or maybe 2018. I don't know. It wasn't that long ago. Well, anyway,
I'm gonna tell you right now. The game that got me super hyped. The announcement that got me super hyped. The game that I didn't know I really wanted, but I really want it because I loved the first game. It was a hidden gem on 360 PS3 era. I'm super hyped. Space Marines 2.
Oh, the Warhammer 40K game, yeah.
Yes, come on.
Nope.
This was like this. You know, like the sword chainsaw.
No, yeah, that's exactly why I'm out on this game. I was like, nope. And I know he's like a big dude in the damn lore of Warhammer. I'm like, when I heard the thing,
Gears of War. It's Gears of War. It's a Gears of War game essentially. Come on,
Jesus. I don't want to. Listen. You dared me to play all of Resident Evil 7 with the VR headset on, and I did it because you said you should do it, and I said, all right, I'll do it, and that freaked me the hell out. But I did it. No, I'm not going to do this.
That freaked me out, and I didn't even have a chainsaw problem. I mean, I have a reasonable level of chainsaw fear, which everyone should have. But
down in that basement, when he had like the little like dual blade chainsaw thing, I'm like,
and
oh
the
my
chunks
God.
of meat that you're trying to duck around.
Well,
It's terrible.
I got a fear of all spooky games, so I don't play.
Yeah, so I mean, you get it. Mine is a very specific type of phobia.
All right, so what if we do this? What if it comes out on? I'm sure they'll have a PC release, and we'll mod it. Instead of a chainsaw, he's holding a lollipop.
That would be fantastic. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Done.
I'm super hyped for this game. I love the first one. It's a hidden gem. It's an atrocity that it took this long to get a sequel, right? I'm sorry. We should be on the third game, right? We should have had this sequel on the PS4 and the Xbox One. I'm sorry. I thought I really loved it. I loved the first game. I'm sorry.
Sure. They made a bunch of real-time strategy games in the middle. I know that's not your jam, but they were continuing with the Warhammer license at least.
Which is a lot more in line with the tabletop experience.
Yeah, because you've got all the miniatures that represent.
This is kind of like freaking StarCraft Ghost.
Oh my God, R.I.P.
So
I heard they're putting it out next year though. It's coming.
Oh yeah. It is.
I played that game.
It is coming.
I played that game.
You did? Oh shoot! I forgot about that.
I got to play it at E3 when they were demoing it that one time. Yeah.
Did you? Was it? What did you have? Was it good for what it was?
This is a rough sentence to get out.
It
seemed fine. Yeah, I mean, it was like I was running around shooting stuff. It was a 3D shooty action kind of. I played it for like 10 minutes. It seemed fine. I wasn't like blown away by it, and I think that was the problem. Is they were just like, this isn't blowing people away. We're not doing it because that's
it was
just
Blizzard
how they roll over there at Blizzard. Yeah, if it's not A+, they were like, So
not anymore.
But it was fine. I played it.
Okay. Well, something I thought was fine was we finally got to see the Halo, the TV series.
Right.
We got to see a clip from it. It will be out next year on Paramount Plus, which I don't know if that's the best decision, right? Because I mean, I don't subscribe to Paramount Plus.
You will now.
Yeah.
Still probably won't, but I'll get it online at some point.
Okay.
I got you.
It looked good, right? It looked good, right? Like Master Chief looked authentic.
Production values look good. Art looked good. Like I saw High Charity, and I was like, oh shit, that's High Charity, except like awesome and shiny and fancy looking. So assuming the plot's good, I'm in. Like I was really hyped for it.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they're going to retell the story of the first couple games, right?
It's hard.
I think you have to.
Yeah,
personally,
I that's would be my guess. Because I showed Halsey and things. That was the only thing that I thought was a little weird. Is like Halsey. I know they've got the voice actress for Cortana's back to play Cortana, so the girl in the game is in the show, which is great. But then they got some like other chick to play Halsey who like just that's not my Halsey. That's not what she looks like to me.
Yeah, but I mean, it was funny because she came out of the books, right? That was when she first got like announced in like I think the Fall of Reach had her, right? Was it the Fall of Reach? Yeah, whatever that first book was.
You didn't see her in a game until 4, I think, right?
Yeah, she was in 4, and she's old in 4. This one, she looks considerably younger.
Definitely.
Yeah, but they've had flashbacks to her younger, because her looks like Cortana, So, like, we know what she's supposed to look like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Do you think we'll see Master Chief's face? Do you think he'll take the helmet off?
Probably. I mean, they picked a fairly recognizable actor for it, so I don't think it, like, we all know who he is, so I don't think there's any mystery in it that way.
Yeah, well, you're going to have to do, like, flashbacks to when he was a kid, right? There's got to be some, like, origin story about it, I think.
I don't think you're going to make a whole TV show about a dude who never takes his mask off. Like,
yeah,
it makes sense for the game because you are Master Chief, but for purposes of watching a TV show, I don't think that's going to fly. I'm pretty sure he'll.
Because he would have to be in the suit all the damn time, unless he's just walking around with the jeans and the t-shirt and the helmet on, sitting in the commissaries,
well,
sipping on a Slurpee.
They do talk about.
Well, to be fair, the Mandalorian, right? Like he only took his mask off like what, twice, if even.
Yeah, well, that was his code, though, right? Like they kind of explained it, like.
But they didn't have to do that, right? They did that. I think I read somewhere where he sort of insisted that he take the mask off at least at some point. Right. I think they could do a Master Chief, never see his face, right? I mean,
I guess
no
you can get away with it, but
Chief.
like there's a reason. Well, right. So counterpoint. There's a good reason why the Mandalorian never took his off plot wise, whereas Master Chief not doing it is just odd. But they do say like in the game, like he's been in armor for like so long. I forget now. One of the books, it was one of the early ones because I haven't read any since like Halo 3 came out. Yeah. But like they were talking about, like, he had to get the armor off at some point. And they're like describing how like just pasty white his skin is from not having seen sunlight.
Yeah, he's got the UV visor.
He just lives in that thing.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it's got a stink in there too.
You know what I think? I think we'll see like the back of his head, right? When him putting the armor on, just like Darth Vader, right? Like we used to see, they had Darth Vader in the chamber, and then the mask comes on, and then like you see the back of his head, but you didn't see him without the mask. Right. So I think they'll do like a Darth Vader type treatment, a Mandalorian style type treatment where it's no reason why we don't see it. He's always into some shit, right? He's just not sitting down eating dinner.
I mean, yeah, they could just do action bit to action bit. I mean, there's enough Covenant to fight to make a 10-part series out of. But
I think every episode. I think like we'll see some episodes where it starts off where he picks up the helmet and puts it on. And you never because it's insinuating he had it off. And now it's the TV show the show starts, and now he puts it on because it's time to go to work.
I honestly kind of hope they like take the helmet off and have him have like a little more character than in the games. Like, as much as I love Steve Downs,
is that the guy who plays him?
Yeah. He's not like, I don't know, but I know the script he's working with. I don't want to poo-poo anybody here, but it's not like the greatest like acting in the world. It's very kind of cartoony, and it made a lot of sense in the old games, and it always feels a little disjointed, honestly, in some of like the newer, more dramatic ones when everyone else is like these really good actors and he's just like, I'm Master Chief, and you're like, okay. So I hope they make him. You've got a recording.
I do,
but I hope they give him like a little more character,
a little more gravitas, a little more stuff to work with. He's also only got like 10 lines per game, right? Like he says like nothing. So
they keep it real minimal. Although I have enjoyed all of his humor in the new ones.
So let's end with the game all the game announcements. It was apropos. I think this. I called it. I said we're probably going to get actual gameplay of this, right?
You were
Senua
right.
Saga Hellblade 2. We saw it 2 years ago at the Game Awards when they showed off the announcement of the Xbox. They actually showed off the Xbox Series X, and they gave us a little bit of what the next generation will be, right? But we saw gameplay. They said it was all in engine, right? They said this is gameplay. I know Dave is skeptical about this.
In engine does not equal gameplay, but it's what the visuals will look like.
They said gameplay when they were announcing it, I thought.
They said gameplay.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I don't know.
Dave was skeptical and thought it was just in the engine and not per se all gameplay.
It looked a little too slick, the animation wise.
I mean, did you play the first one? I don't know.
No, I didn't. Was it on that level? Okay.
It is even the first one still looks ridiculous, especially with like the Series X update. Like it's on Game Pass. Definitely worth it just to fire it up for a little bit.
All right.
I think it was real. There was definitely spots that you could see that like that like weird giants like kind of lumpy sideways on the thing looked a little like I don't know game graphic shiny in spots and things like the problem with all these streaming things is like the res is always kind of which is not the best way to see half of these things for the first time. They're like, look at this amazing trailer, and it's like 1080p and
it's kind of compressed.
Yeah. But it looked pretty legit to me, I think.
I just want to know one thing. I want to know if everything around her is real or all of this shit's in her mind.
Oh,
right. Like she's commanding like an army to throw these spears that are on fire. Is this like just in her head? And she's like, if you just actually see her, she's just running around like because it's about mental health, right?
It is.
The game itself is about mental health. If she's just running around jumping in the dirt for no reason and like none of this stuff is real, like that would be kind of cool if they take it from that aspect of like she has an army, right? Like, and she's conducting people, like she's commanding people to go here, do this, right? And then at the end of the game, you find out there's nobody here.
She's just sitting in a room all day. Yeah. There's just blood splatters on the wall from her, like hitting the wall. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So, but regardless, I thought that was an awesome announcement. Like, I thought like that was one of the big announcements. I think
that's pretty solid, huh?
Yeah, I thought like from just like all the announcements, I thought that was like maybe the second biggest announcement they had. I thought that was awesome, especially that Phil Spencer allowed them to have it there, right? Because he could have kept this on ice until
saved it for E3, yeah.
Saved it for E3, right? Because it was to be, we don't know when this game is coming out. They didn't even give her a release window. They didn't even say 2022. So this could be a 2023 game for all we know.
Oh, I mean, I feel like Microsoft has a lot of stuff, if not to release this year, at least to show, like between theirs and all the Bethesda things. They should not be wanting for trailers this E3. Right. There better be a lot.
Well, what's the new space one from Bethesda? Starfield,
yeah.
That is potentially coming out next year?
And the new one from the guys who made New Vegas.
Obsidian, yeah. I forget the name, but yeah, not the sequel to.
You mean Outer Worlds 2?
It's an all new, like it's a Skyrim-y looking kind of thing. It looks very much like they've gone and made their own, fantasy RPG. They only showed like a CG trailer like 2 years ago or something. But they got to show up for that in the near future, I think.
Sure.
All right. So that was it for all the big game announcements. But this is the Game Awards. And I want to talk a little bit about the awards. They had a lot of awards. Don't want to get into all of them. Just want to sort of cherry pick some that, come to mind. And we'll sort of end it with like the Game of the Year talk, which a little bit controversial if you ask me.
No controversy here, Dan. They made the correct pick.
So best narrative, right? Went to Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought was not my choice, but I'm not mad at it because Guardians of the Galaxy, fantastic narrative. I think the game went on. If anything, I think the knock on the game for me is it's too damn long. It's too much narrative. Like it's just so much story in this game. I think it was about maybe 2 hours too long, just for my taste, but it was a great story, and I do recommend that you do play it. You should try it out because the story is wild.
I've heard that from a lot of people, but it was interesting, like because you had Returnal and Deathloop, which very interesting story mechanics, the way they told stuff and whatnot. I thought one of those two games was going to win best narrative, to be honest. Not to say Guardians isn't great. I'm hearing great things like across the board about the story, but I don't know. I just thought because it's like kind of new storytelling, maybe kind of new storytelling in a way, told in an interesting way with an interesting game mechanic around it. Like, I wouldn't have put money on Guardians.
I feel like that sort of should be its own category, like game and storytelling. I don't know what we would call it, but like some games really like do that super well, and some games are like, here's a game, it has a story, and
best unique experience, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. It's I don't know. Yeah.
Best narrative.
Well, I know this made Dave happy. The best action game.
Oh yeah.
Went to Returnal.
Solid.
And you know what? I would have voted for Ratchet and Clank. You know, as far as action wise, but
also
again,
solid. Yeah.
Not my pick, but I'm not mad at it because Returnal, you know, as far as the action goes, is great. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough game. Yeah. It's a really
still have yet to beat it.
It's a really tough game. Yeah. But you know me, I just don't like roguelike. Like don't change. I want to memorize, you know, the patterns and everything, the layout. So, you know, to die and come back and everything is brand new, like not my cup of tea. But the action parts, definitely solid. So I'm not mad at it. Did you play Returnal, Joe?
Well, like the roguelike stuff turns me off to begin with, and then I just heard enough people kind of complaining that like sometimes like it was just like you get a bad roll of the dice and you wouldn't be able to beat it until you just got a lucky hand dealt to you like one turn, and that's just frustrating. Like you should be able to beat it every time, you know, like in theory, and a lot of people were saying like it didn't really like feel that way. Like sometimes you're like waiting for the stars to align so that you can get whatever thing done, and that
That's fair. I would say the incline is a little bit steeper. It's not a sheer cliff. It's like that versus like that. Like, yeah, sometimes you can get a really good run and you're like, everything's just firing. But a lot of that comes down to like the skill too. Like, because certain things will only pop when you're at full health or, I kind of agree with that. Kind of don't agree with that. Because there's also like certain ways you can push your run. Like you can open a door and create more challenges to get more stuff. And if you mess up in that room, you might as well just restart. Because you'll be down to like 0 health and all the stuff you get won't offset all the stuff that you lost going in there. So you can make it a little bit tougher on yourself. But
okay, well, you know what? That's why they need to put an easy mode in these games. But I'm just saying, I'm just saying, my opinion. All right. Moving on to best action adventure game. Now this surprised me. I didn't see this coming. Metroid Dread.
Wow. It's very good. So, I tell you, it's not going to win best narrative, Dan. Because it's got no story.
It has a story.
It does have a story. How was Kraid back? No one tells me nothing.
That's exactly right. They didn't even explain it. He's just there, and it's like fan service. Ugh.
Just locked him up in a dungeon.
Yeah, there's 3 cutscenes. One in the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end. That's it. And that's your narrative.
Classic Nintendo.
We got best fighting game. I thought this was a no-brainer. I went to Guilty Gear Strive, right? As a side note, we did see Kojima. He was there. Well, not in person, but he was. Come on, this can't be the Game Awards. It can't be Jeff Keighley without having Kojima. He, sort of promoted a movie that was done by Del Toro, right?
Yeah,
like that circus. I forgot the name of the movie, but it's like about this. It's about the circus. I forgot the name. What was the name of the movie?
Is it that alley thing?
Hugh Jackman.
Lethal Alley,
right?
Maybe? Or Circus Alley?
Is it?
Something Alley, yeah. I think that's right.
I don't know. I know Del Toro's got something coming out that's all like, it's sort of like a bunch of short stories, like, stuck together or something, but I missed that part.
But Del Toro was there after that to present, like, Best Art Design, which went to Deathloop, by the way. Fair enough. Deathloop did bring in a lot of awards.
Nightmare Alley. Sorry.
Nightmare Alley.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks very good.
But before he announced the nominees and the winner, he did say something a little bit interesting that it kind of went unnoticed. He said, best art direction. You know what? I liked Silent Hill. They should bring that back. Maybe they'll make they make a game, right? Like you just said. There are all these rumors that we're going to get we're going to get 2 new Silent Hill games, right? One that's exclusive to the PS5 and, one that will be multi-platform. So maybe there are something to the rumor that Del Toro and Kojima, maybe Sony is sort of bridging the gap to have Kojima work on a Silent Hill game and they're maybe financing it and Del Toro's involved.
I mean, they're best buds.
Why would he?
They're definitely.
Why would he? Is he just trolling us? Why would he say that?
Trolling. I think he's just bitter about them canceling it. I think he's just dragging them because, like, unless Sony like bought the rights from Silent Hill, I don't think Kojima's ever gonna work with those guys again. Like that bridge has been
pretty sour relationship
from orbit.
True, but
I would love it, but
and you know what? You know what? I could see Konami selling the rights to Silent Hill because what the hell are they doing with it? Absolutely
no.
Making pachinko machines.
They're never gonna sell. They're never gonna sell the rights to Metal Gear or Silent Hill, but they'll license the rights, right? And that's the rumor that heated up over the summertime, or even before. No, before then, earlier this year, that they were that Sony sort of brokered a deal where they're licensing Silent Hill. That's why it'll be exclusive on the PS5, and maybe Kojima will be involved because Konami's not involved at all. They're just giving the right to use the name and the likeness, right?
I mean, I would be as happy as anybody, but I am holding my breath for 0 seconds on this one. I fingers crossed.
But I was holding my breath when we came to the finale of the show. Ooh. The Game of the Year. I gotta say, for all the things I don't like about the Game Awards, the one thing I do like, and I think is fantastic, and I think they shouldn't touch, just leave it the way it is, the presentation of all the nominees for the Game of the Year with the orchestra. I thought that was phenomenal. I think it's phenomenal every year. He started it, 3 years ago? I think it was 3 years ago with God of War, right? Yep. God of War 1. And I think they should keep that. That is the best thing about the show, in my opinion. And out of nowhere, It Takes Two won Game of the Year. Not only Game of the Year, won Best Multiplayer Game and Family Game as well.
Yeah.
So I think everybody in the audience was shocked. Even Joseph Ferris was shocked.
I knew. Well, yeah, he was jumping for joy.
He was jumping for joy. And guess what? He told everybody if they don't have kids, they should have some kids. They should go get a kid because
I know
kids are important.
I know. Oh, that was definitely kind of crazy. I mean, it was a stacked category, going up against a bunch of games. I love It Takes Two. Don't get me wrong. I personally, I think it's my game of the year, 100%. But there was a lot of heavy hitters. There was a lot of new games in there. Yeah. I don't know if every outlet is going to do that, but I'm glad Keeley and the team.
I honestly thought Deathloop was going to take it.
Yeah.
Everybody
in the industry loves it.
But everybody in the industry loves Deathloop. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was going to take it. I was like, hands down, Deathloop, they're going to come on stage again. It Takes Two surprised the heck out of me, and I was surprised, and I was shocked, and I was happy. Well, it definitely deserved it. Well deserved. I'm not mad.
I think part of the motivation behind it was the fact that it was somewhat of a unique experience, and the story they were telling was kind of heavy in a way. It's about your parents getting divorced, and then you get turned into little clay figures, and you have to save your marriage. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I think that was probably part of the reason why they decided on that. But I don't know. I mean, I still think it's a great game across the board, but the story kind of is.
I don't think he knew. I don't think he knew he was going to win because he was surprised. He was shocked. He had nothing to say. He really didn't.
Yeah.
And when they showed him when he was getting up, he was just leaning back with his arms folded. He was like, "What? I won!"
Yeah. Coming up in a jeans and t-shirt, right? And he's like, "Yeah, all right, here I am."
I'm gonna say that should have won that other category that I was trying to invent before. I'm gonna call it narrative design, but
sure.
That's the one thing that I really love about the game is they're you're trying to make you learn to cooperate, so we're gonna literally make you learn to cooperate. So the story and the gameplay are really infused in that one.
Yeah. So I mean, it also won Family Game and best multiplayer game, which 100% makes sense to me.
So overall, what do you think of the show as a whole? I'll give it to Joe first.
Yeah.
All right. I think the guest always goes.
My guest of honor first spot. I always watch it, and it always feels a little bit like work. I want to see these trailers. Mm-hmm. I'm mostly there for the trailers. I'm kind of excited to see who wins some of these awards, but I don't know that the two I just the whole thing feels weird to me because you don't watch the Oscars and see trailers for movies coming out next year. Nobody else does this. We know it's happening because people aren't that interested in the awards, maybe, or just like game developers aren't as like charming on stage as actors and musicians are. Like a combination of the two, but like it's I don't know, the pacing's a little weird and it all feels like a little, they're trying too hard to make video games seem like they're the serious thing when I wish it was a little bit more lighthearted personally. But,
yeah. I mean, there's a reason why they don't show the technical awards at the Oscars, because they're the boring part, right? They do that in another day in a smaller venue, and they cut to it for like 2 seconds, and they go, here's a clip of the other show that we had going on for all the awards you don't care about. And the Game Awards has like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 awards that are like really big, and everything else is kind of like technical, because that's what it is, it's technical achievement more or less, and a little bit of like big actors.
Well, I would say just to play devil's advocate just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think the show, I don't mind it being serious, because I think we should have an Oscars for video games. I mean, I know we grew up with it, right? Like, we made video games a thing, our generation.
Oh yeah.
Like our generation and maybe the one before it, we made it a thing, right? So it's still relatively young,
mm-hmm.
right? But we are different. Like you say, the Oscars, they don't show movies, but we know what movies are in production, right? Like for video games, nobody wants to know this game that's coming out in 2027 is in production right now, right? Like we want that element of surprise, right? There's certain things that the movie industry does, the music industry does, and the game industry. Like, we don't have to do exactly the same thing, but we have our little niches of this is what we do, and we like to have the element of surprise. But I think we should have a element of seriousness, because a lot of these people in the technical side can go anywhere. They can go into the movie industry, they can go into the music industry, right? So why can't we have our serious side too? And I just think we should have like a little part to the side for the esports, right? Because they have a lot of esports categories and they don't give it any type of love whatsoever, right?
Well,
I
think they had esports on stage last year, but not this year, and usually not in most years.
2 years ago. You're thinking of 2 years ago.
Oh, maybe it was 2 years ago. They had Sonic Fox or whatever.
Yeah,
he was recognized as somebody. Yeah, but you're right. They normally don't have a lot. They'll just here's the nominees. They won't even list out the nominees, and they go, this guy won, and no one knows who they are, right?
Well, I don't have a reason to care, right? And every time we talk about the Game Awards every year, we go through the nominees or the categories. We always skip the esports because we don't know it, and they treat it like, why should I care, right? Like they sometimes put it in the pre-show for the most part.
Yeah.
When maybe they should have a separate section, like this is the esports part of the Game Awards, where we're gonna let them call them on stage and let them talk about how much they care. Or I don't know how you fix it, to be honest, but
it's just kind of weird because like it's I don't know, like it just doesn't like jive with the sort of the rest of what's going on. Like, it's video game related, but like it's like having an award show for people who like invented football and the people who play football at the same show. Like it's I mean, it being an interactive medium makes things strange in general, but it's
I mean that kind of goes hand in hand with the fact that fans can vote on the games. They want to make it more inclusive in that way. But
the one.
So why don't they just the Game Awards have a collaboration with the ESPYs and give the best esports award?
Do they have an esports category at the ESPYs? I bet they do now.
I think they do, but the whole fact that you have the ESPYs, why don't you have the Game Award? At the ESPYs, like in collaboration,
right,
and give out awards to the esports team, coach, player, league, all that stuff, right? Like I think it really should be there where it would be appreciated a little bit more, right? Or maybe not. Maybe it's because it's not there and that they don't appreciate it and they look down on it, that Jeff Keighley feels that he should put it in the Game Awards to give it some appreciation. I think it does need a level of appreciation. It's just something that I'm not into, right? I'm not into multiplayer, but I understand its importance.
Yeah.
So I think the pacing for me is the issue with the show, right? Like, you have game announcements because that's what's going to bring the viewership. It's about awards, so it's like that you're walking that fine line. It's about giving recognition to people who work in the industry, but having people actually watch. So you want to have game announcements. You should have your second biggest announcement open the show, and you should have your biggest announcement right before the game of the year, right? And sparse it out that way. Like, I love Microsoft's E3 press conference every year, but my issue is just pacing, is how they organize it. I always tell you every year, whoever's organizing it is terrible. They just do a bad job. I'm sorry.
I feel like they usually start off with like a big hitter, like first and last. Well, they always end big, but I feel like their first one is usually some sort of like stinger. Like the Halo was like the opening thing in 20. It was 19.
Do you remember? What ended it last? This past E3. Remember what game ended it?
No.
That's my point.
See, there you go.
It might have been big. You don't know.
That's my point. It was a new IP. That was a multiplayer game that nobody cares about.
Some weird vampire blood shooting game or something. Yeah,
that was the last game they announced.
That was the last game. That
brand new IP from like a mid-tier studio, and it looked kind of cool, but like no one was jumping out of their seat for it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
It
was bad.
So that's that you just proved my point. And I think, we didn't get the chic Hydro mascot this year. And I understand we need commercials because that pays the bills, right? They had Sting as a singer. Now, Sting has nothing to do with video games. But
he's on the looked it up. Yeah, he did the League of Legends the TV show Arcane. He did one of the songs in it.
Okay. So so it was sort of connected. All right. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
You got to have some the Oscars have live music, right? Like, so you got to have some type of live music. I don't mind it, and it's cool. It's sort of like, a bathroom break for me, right? So
you like it. Wait, you like it because you can go to the bathroom. That's not glowing.
I do. Well, listen, if we were at the show, hopefully, they can find a cure for the zombie apocalypse, and we can, try to get tickets to go to the show next year. That'd be awesome. But if I was at the show, I would enjoy Sting more, right? I would enjoy it more.
Oh, well, live music versus live to tape or live streaming is completely different. Yeah.
I think really mixed emotions about seeing Sting live. And like he sings some song from Arcane. I mean, I'd love to see Sting live, but I really want him to sing a Sting song that I know and not this thing from Arcane. But
fair enough.
Then I would say the show is too long. It's way too long. 3 hours, just way too long. It should be pre-show 30 minutes, regular show 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half. Post-show, have a post-show for 30 minutes. Right there. Like, it needs to be maybe 3 hours in total. Like, not even 3 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, 2 hours in total. Pre-show, end show, and maybe post-show.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you had a half an hour to 45 minutes of just awards and announcements, and everything else there was the little bit of music and then all the trailers and the announcements. That was the bulk of it, was the trailers and the announcements.
They need a guest host. I love Jeff Keighley as a person, and I like, I love his enthusiasm, right, for games, but I think maybe a guest host could work too. Right, like I would love to see Jeff Keighley on the post show, like talking to developers who won and just giving them more time, just like in the Oscars, right? Like they always have like the post show, talking to people who won, and they're in the back mingling, and it's like, you won the Oscar, like same thing, like you won the Game Awards. How does that feel? Like because it's different dynamic than being on stage in front of everybody when you have 20 seconds to say thank you to everybody in your life, right? Compared to being backstage where you don't have, all you have is a camera in your face. You don't have a live audience of like 1,000 people. So you can get more of a genuine reaction.
Yeah, they should like maybe consider getting some like big streamers. Like they bother having like a Streamer of the Year award, which is an odd category again, in my mind. Not something I'm invested in. But like if they had a couple of like big streamers, like maybe all the guys that are nominated as best streamer of the year, they can host various bits of it. Like these are people that play video games, know about video games, are excited. People like watching them. They got good personalities. Like
sure.
You don't want to have like a Ubisoft presser where you get like some celebrity who has no idea why they're there, awkwardly making bad pre-written jokes for it. But somebody who could like liven it up a little bit.
Ben Schwartz.
Greg Miller host.
Greg Miller's good too, but Ben Schwartz was the highlight of that. When he came out for the Sonic thing, and he was like, "I got this DVD, but I don't think there's any way to play it. No one has DVDs anymore."
That's true.
On here.
No.
He would have been great, right? He's
great.
related to like he's voicing Sonic, and he's great. He's good comedic. He's got good comedic timing. All right, everybody ends up loving him. He's got no issues. Right, let him host the show.
Xavier Woods.
Also fantastic. Yes. 1/3 of the New Day. All right, he's big into gaming. He'd be great. I would love to see him host the show.
Yeah. So, yep, that's it. I thought the show was great. Well, I thought some of the announcements were great. The show, pacing wise, way too long. I kind of got towards the end. I was a little checked out. So.
Yeah, I just wish it had a little more fun. Like I said, I was originally thinking like, old G4, but those Spike Awards were terrible. So I'd like to rework that thought
somewhere
into,
in the middle. Somewhere in the middle.
Old school VMAs, MTV Movie Awards vibe. Like,
okay. Yeah.
That kind of like we're having a good time here. It's not
Shaq can never host another Game Awards ever again. I'm sorry.
I mean,
he could be there to show Shaq, Shaq Fu Part 3.
Oh my god,
I'm okay with that, but he can never host another award.
Shaq Fu, the legend continues.
Yeah, I could do that.
Oh my god.
All right, well that's the game. All right, so that's the Game Awards 2021 in the books. Any good weekend plans? Any good weekend plans for you guys? I'm just gonna jump back into Halo personally, and download this Halo. Matrix experience.
That too, yes, that too. I'm gonna get on that.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's interesting.
Yeah. So I think we're all gonna be doing that. Probably single player, probably not multiplayer for a while. Put that on the side. Unless everybody wants to play multiplayer, then I'll be down. But I want to get single player.
I just meant co-op. Just sad about co-op.
I know.
Sad.
I know.
We should be playing together right now.
I agree. But yeah. So all right. Next show is going to be our final show of the year. It's episode 299, folks. We are one away from episode 300. It's going to be a big show, and we are going to be talking about our Game of the Year nominees. And Joe, we know you've had you on the show before, and as tradition, we love to ask, what is the greatest game of all time? But we won't do that because we already asked you that, and we have your answer. So we need to give you a new question. And since it's Game of the Year talk, we want to know, what is your pick for Game of the Year?
God, I wish I'd gotten to play more of them. Being an adult is hard.
You're a grown man gamer. It's okay.
Grown man.
I feel you. If I wasn't pretty good at Halo, I would definitely be playing that on easy. But Heroic's working for me. Of the things I've played this year, I did enjoy It Takes Two, but I got frustrated in a few spots, so I couldn't plow through. I'm gonna have to go with Resident Evil this year.
Okay.
Wow.
Resident Evil 8,
plowed through that in like 3 days. Couldn't put it down. Was like just constantly engaged. It was everything I liked about the last one, but like even better, and it was great. Just super fun.
We had it up for Game of the Half Year. Yeah, that was in the nomination mix. It was probably, I would say, one of the best, if not the best, games of the first half of 2021.
Yeah.
And I think it still holds up. I mean, it was in all of the Game of the Year nomination, or all of the Game Award nominations, most of the categories. Resident Evil popped up. I think it was in Game of the Year talk, right? It was
in the user voted one. It ended up in the top 5. That's actually the one I voted for on that poll site. I was like, I love Halo, and it's probably great, but it came out yesterday, so this
you can't.
Right.
Yeah, which is sad because it's probably not going to make it into the awards next year because it's not going to be in people's minds. I mean, maybe
unless there's a whole lot of really good DLC.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, if they put out DLC right before the Game Awards next November, then that'll be a different story for sure.
Maybe it'll have a most improved category.
Yeah, it'll get
a lot of those over the
awards.
years. Or the space one that everyone hated and is now great.
No Man's Sky.
No Man's Sky. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hello Games really turned that game around. They put a lot of effort into it. But yeah. Well, that is episode 298 in the books, folks. And we want to thank you guys for listening to the show and liking, commenting, and doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. And also, we are part of the Gaming Podcast Alliance. You can check out all of the fine podcasts featured on gamingpodcastalliance.com if you're looking for more gaming goodness. So, please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.